The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron on the Para X Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hey, Merry Mid, everybody, and welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. My guest tonight is Jacki Smith, and she is the founder, the enchantress, and the visionary of Coventry Creations. And she started Coventry in 1992 with her sister and business partner, Patty Shaw. And they've taken it from the kitchen stove to an international company. Now she's an author, a teacher, presenter, radio show host, reader, healer, and has dedicated her entire life to the mission of normalizing the words witch and magic. Now, I asked her to join us tonight because I saw one of her Facebook Live posts, and it was about finding our new normal. Now, that was back in April when she was referring to the COVID virus and the sheltering at home and all that. But since then, just as we're getting ready to open up and be able to get up and do more things and go more places, our world is kind of turned upside down again for the moment. With experiencing curfews and all that stuff, it feels like we're all kind of up the creek without a paddle right now. So let's see what we can do to find our new normal, because most people believe that the world we used to be is never going to be quite the same. So we need to adjust, and a little help is needed. So Jacki, welcome back.
Thank you, Marla. I am so honored that you've asked me back and that you were inspired by the video Facebook Live I did.
Oh, absolutely. And for people that haven't been around growing whiskers like we have, you've been on the show before, but way back when it was when, now we're getting gray hair that we need to cover up and can.
I like to call that my pandemic gray look.
I thought it's really nice. It really is.
I did not know my hair was this white.
It's shocking, isn't it? I'm like, oh God, am I a Heinz 57 dog? Have I got all these different colors in me? It's just very strange. But it looked good on you. It really did.
Thanks.
It really did.
Thanks.
And I'm really happy that I happened upon this particular Facebook Live of yours because you do a lot of them and they're really helpful and wonderful and whatever. But this kind of hit home because it was well said and well planned and well done, and I thought we really had to share it. So let's talk about the phrase new normal. Some people see that it's something temporary and maybe it's wishful thinking because to me it's kind of a new way of life. What do you think?
So I feel like we are in the chrysalis right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're the goo in the chrysalis. We're the butterfly goo.
I've been called worse. That's all right.
Right. But when I was looking at this whole process and I was thinking about, when I was a kid and they talked about the caterpillar and the chrysalis and what happens inside and I literally think we're in a state of evolution. If you look at the astrology, I'm not an astrologer. I have several good friends who are, and so I can't get away from it. But looking at the astrology is totally lining up with this an inner and an outer revolution, and so it's like you can resist it. You can say, no, I'm waiting for everything to go back to the way it was, and be sorely disappointed, and then when you resist this evolution and it's telling you something big, and you resist it, it gets more and more painful. And so this new normal is not necessarily amazing for people. But there's a couple of things I talk about when I'm talking with different people. That number one is, what do you need to give up? What are you leaving behind? What behavior or idea or belief are you leaving behind? What are you making this mean? So this is a unprecedented time. Either you're working your butt off, or you're at home not working your butt off or worrying your butt off. And then, so what are you making this time mean for you? And then what are you carrying forward? So those three things can be very profound for you, or they can, or maybe they're not. Maybe it's something that's just it's a little simpler. But I'm watching some interesting changes, and there are no two that are the same.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up, because, now you were talking about it's okay and it's time to create the new normal. Everything's changed and it's not okay, but it has to be okay. All right. So your okay might be different than my okay. I mean, everybody's different. So finding our own personalized new normal is easy, maybe, or not easy sounding to people as it was to just change something that everybody's changing, and everybody's in the same mindset. So
Right.
Finding our own personalized new normal has that thing, what does it mean to you? What do you want to be? What do you want to make your life about? A lot of it, I guess, is planning and manifestation at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm. Working your plan. Yeah, because we're just coming out of the standstill. We're just coming out of that literally quarantine lockdown. And when you're in that quarantine lockdown, you're in a state of limbo. And I'm in Michigan, and Michigan is like the last to come out of some of this limbo. Michigan and New York and New Jersey, we're slow to come out because we got hit so hard with that virus in the beginning. And I'm watching people in Michigan just now start to break that quarantine bubble and start to come out of that limbo and there's people all over the country that are scared to come out of that limbo, because then you have to start accepting this change that'll happen. And I'm not judging you. I'm not judging that process. I'm actually fascinated by that. When I first had to break my bubble, my quarantine bubble, and interact with the public, I had to retreat. And I watched different people retreat away from interacting with the public. We had to go take a breather elsewhere. A bunch of us were working on a project in our own little spaces, and just like saying hi and interacting, but realizing we're seeing people in 3D rather than on Zoom or Skype or Facebook buddy calls and stuff. And everyone is reacting different. So I was scared. I was scared to find this new. I'm brave in how I talk, but then I got out and I was around people who are anti-mask. And I do want to touch on that for a second, not in a political way, but in a human way.
Yeah.
So I've been reading this book, and I wish I knew the author's name right now, but it's called Flu, and it's about the Spanish flu. And she is, the first couple of chapters, she talks about all of the great plagues. And she talks about how there's different types of people. They're the same four factions in every plague. There's the faction that, like in the Black Plague, all the aristocracy who hid in their castles and wouldn't help anybody. So they pretended it wasn't there. So they quarantined, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they quarantined and they didn't want to interact with anybody. Then there's the ones that said, well, we're all going to die tomorrow, so let's party in the streets. Let's party till we die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the faction that said, God will save me. So if my vibration's high enough, or if I pray enough, or if I go to church enough, God will save me. And then there's the faction that just had to do the work. They had to milk the cows that the aristocracy, for the milk that the aristocracy drank. They just had to do the work. They had to bury the people. They had to do the doctors, etc. So whether we're talking about the cholera outbreaks, the Spanish flu, the Black Death, polio, there were the same four factions. Isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at this, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. So back to this, creating your new normal and understanding human nature, that we're going to be afraid. We're all going to react differently. And we all have to decide what we make it mean. But we're experiencing the same thing, but all through completely different lenses.
Mm-hmm. And, it's one of these things where it's like doing a spring cleaning. And it is spring, so it's appropriate time for that. But I think we kind of overlook things. Instead of like dropping the baggage, we just put it aside and carry it with us. And so that kind of weighs you down. But you don't think about it all the time, but it's there. It's like the black cloud over your head that, if you look up really high, you'll see it. So, doing all these things, trying to figure out what you don't need in your life anymore, what direction you want to go in, what changes do you make in your life. It takes a little bit of sitting down and trying to figure it out, because then you might think of three things and then be kind of going back and forth. Well, maybe I should keep that one. Well, I don't know, but that one's even better. It's a time of thought. It's a time of planning. And even if this wasn't going on, that's a good thing to do. To be honest.
Yeah. It's the thing that you need to pay attention to is the thing that terrifies you the most.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start talking about, I'm gonna clear out all these things in my life, and the thing that you're so terrified of getting rid of, that's the thing you look for. So we do this to ourselves. We put stuff in our own way to pay attention to. And the things that are really, really important, we make our responses really, really big to them. Mm-hmm. So that's my clue. When I was home, and my big worry and my big terror was not having enough to do, and not being needed. So I'm like, that's what I got to look at right now. And I have 7 aspects in Virgo. I can't help but overanalyze myself.
Wow.
And not everybody is burdened like this. But just like looking at what terrifies me the most, and really in anybody I talk to, it's like we start going to what scares you the most, and that's the thing to look at, to plan around.
Yeah, and it's hard to let go of things. Good and bad. Definitely good things that you have to let go of. That's, really, really difficult. But we hoard. It's terrible because we hoard a lot of the negativity. And just as when we're cleaning the house in the spring, and you do that really good thing, and you walk into the house seems bigger, the house seems brighter, the house smells better. And you think, oh God, I wish I could have this every day. Well, you can if you do it right. We can do it to ourselves. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
So, this is what we need to do. And it could take a week. Might take a month, but we've got nothing but time right now anyway. Still.
Yeah. And it's what is her name? Danielle Laporte, in her one book, she talks about goal setting is not necessarily about a thing, but about a feeling. In the end, we want to get to a feeling, security, happiness. community, whatever those things are. And if you can tune into that feeling, it's easier to set the goals around it. Because you understand what's going to help you manifest that experience.
I think it's also good for the old saying, know thyself, because you have to dig deep to really do that, because otherwise, we all have aspects that we're not really crazy about. And I always joke, it seems to come like you're doing the thing your mother did that you couldn't stand when she did it, kind of thing,
Yeah.
And so you don't have to keep it, though, but you kind of hide it so deep that you hide it from yourself. And so this is why we need to dig deep and know thyself and figure out things. And manifestation does work. And you don't have to be a witch or a pagan or anything else to make that work. I mean, it's kind of mind over matter, or mind guiding matter, if you want to put it that way. Why do you think people are afraid to go digging?
Responsibility. When you know better, you have to do better, and then you start judging yourself on how you didn't do better before. One of my big aha moments over the past 90 days has been that mediocre is no longer an option. So we have had time to, and I'm thinking a lot in my customers, different retail stores that I sell to, and we're all having to make some really hard decisions.
Right.
For some people, for a lot of us, it's like, well, maybe resources are scarce. So the things that don't feed your soul, bring great joy, or great growth, there's no room or time for them. We were joking, Marla, when we were setting up the show, and you said, "Oh, I'm not going to curse you or hex you or blah, blah, blah." And I said, "No, he's got time for that." No, he's got time for that. That's like that mediocre thing of like, I'm not, even people I'm interacting with, and this may sound harsh to some people, but I'm looking at people that I don't have a emotional return on investment. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm not going to spend time on trying to get a return on emotional investment or spiritual investment. So I just don't have to invest in that anymore. So this sense of, which is interesting because I'm thinking purely on the energetic level. I see it going on in our society right now, is that accepting status quo or mediocrity is no longer acceptable. Right. And I've been saying this for actually, it's not 90 days, it's 70 days. For the past 70 days, I'm like, wow, we can step into our greatness. We can find our greatness and step into it. And that is the scariest thing you can do, is to accept your own personal power. Do you think, and Marla, in our conversations that we've had, you have stepped into your own personal power in many ways. Isn't that like the scariest thing you can do? Putting yourself out there?
Yeah, it's like looking in the mirror first thing in the morning. I mean, it's not that easy, but you eventually get comfortable with it, I think. Well, not the mirror part. We never get comfortable with that. But yeah, I think finding it is important, and searching is important, and it empowers you, and not in a really strong, fist up way, but it's good to be comfortable in your own skin and understand things. And a lot of people just can't do that. They're afraid what they're going to find or something.
Looking in the mirror, being comfortable in your own skin, is the first step to great magic and great transformation. And a decade or more ago, which is scary to say, I had a photo shoot. I needed some headshots, and I had some big ideas on what I wanted to do. And my friend, I hired as a photographer, he nailed it. He made it happen, every one of them. And then I got the proofs, and I was looking at them, and I printed them out, and I was horrified and mortified and upset. They were, to me, because you look at the pictures of yourself, and it destroys the fantasy of what you think you look like.
Yep.
And I'm looking at these, and I'm really upset, just in tears. Like, forget it. I'm going to delete this whole thing. And a voice in my head, a comforting voice said to me, the people around you look at you in these pictures and they find you beautiful. Mm-hmm. So it's time to look at yourself as a beloved being, a beloved friend. And that changed everything for me in that moment, where I could start. So I turned all my pictures upside down as I was looking at trying to pick the one for the headshots. And I turned them all upside down, and I looked at them all upside down as if they were a beloved friend.
That's brave. It really is.
And I had to pick my own picture.
Yeah.
And I said, if this was someone else, what would I say? What would I like about this? And so this is that getting comfortable in your own skin. You are a beloved friend. Be the beloved friend to yourself. Maybe that's the new normal. That's the evolution for you, is to, and it's not just love yourself. Be a beloved friend. Like, when you have someone in your life that you love that much and you would just do anything for, what would it look like if you treated yourself that way?
Yeah. And that brings confidence, which makes a really big deal, because a lot of people don't have confidence in themselves. They don't trust their trains of thought. They've might have been, told that, they're always wrong or something. You never know. And to get that back is really to empower yourself. And that confidence, that feeling, that good feeling that you're comfortable in your own skin is absolutely amazing. And it doesn't mean that we're all perfect and we're all going to, do that and everything, the sun's going to shine and, whatever. I mean, we're going to have ups and downs. Life's a roller coaster. So
yeah, we're going to feel great some days and worm dirt the next day. It's and when the days when we feel like worm dirt is when, look at how I'm not swearing. I'm such a sweary girl, and I'm not doing it.
I know. I'm so proud of you.
The worm dirt days are when you grow, when you feel amazing. Those are not growth days. Those are reveling days where you just get to refill your energy, refill all of your coffers and your reserves and your energy. But worm dirt days are really important, because that's when you can sort through. It seems like you're not sorting through, but you are, because you're letting those repressed beliefs show themselves.
And eventually you learn that they don't hurt. You can get over them and just enjoy it, because we just worry so much about things. And, well, things are a problem in people's lives. Things cause trouble. I mean, people have too many things. But, I mean, this is so important now, because just to make ourselves a little more comfortable in what the future holds. I mean, we don't know. And so why not pad your larder or whatever, just to make sure that you do know what's good for you and what you can hold on to and what you can believe in. And that what you can believe in is yourself, in spite of what everybody else says.
I was listening to some futurists, one in particular who shared a message along the wire. And the thing he said is that if you look at the trends and where things are going, personal time, that hygiene, that self-care in a new way, of people needing that quiet time to retreat and is going to be really, really important. And I just found that fascinating, that this self-care is now, it's not an indulgence anymore. It is necessary, like air.
Mm-hmm. It is. And there's a comment from the chat room from Tabby. She said it's sad that many people are reacting to both the virus and the present-day violence with an acceptance that is the new normal. And so it's kind of like you're giving up on everything. And a lot of people have been giving up just by having to stay home.
Yeah, it's yes. And that is, I really want to say that is a choice, but I think it's also programming. It's really scary to step into a new world, and some people just they're not going to, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to just say it's a choice, like I'm going to choose to be ignorant. It's just like, it's so programmed, and they're not prepared for it. A friend of mine, we both have businesses, and we were talking about our businesses surviving. And we said the way we've built our businesses and the way we've built things is that we're going to be okay. Even in the midst of not being okay, we're going to be okay. And we're going to figure it out. If our businesses could be a tenth of the size they were pre-COVID, and we're still going to survive, and we're still going to move forward, because we made that decision. And I think, we both agreed in our conversation that the only way it's not going to survive is if we choose that. And for us, that is a belief and a privilege at the same time. Because both of us had been through so many things in our business. We're like, I did a meme a while ago. I've been through the verge of bankruptcy, 9/11, 2 recessions, the .com bust, the real estate bust, embezzlement, COVID-19. Hold my bourbon. I got this.
Yeah, practice makes perfect, isn't it?
And it's not. It really doesn't have to be about age or longevity of our experience. Is that we've already been through a lot. My daughter, who's 23, and she's like, I've been through this, this, and this. I'm getting through this. And I said, yeah. We're always building up to the next thing where we can use our experience to prove the model of defeat or to prove the model of success.
Yeah, and don't fall prey to a self-fulfilled prophecy, because that happens too. So, yeah.
That is a big truth.
Yeah. So a lot of people are card readers, or they go for readings, and I think the most called for readings are general ones. People want to know what's happening in their lives, what's to come, or they just want to know what the cards want them to know. But in your Facebook Live, you spoke about a new type of reading, and it's called the REM method, and stands for Remove, Energize, and Manifest. And we're going to talk about that after the break, because you're going to explain how it works and everything, and I'm going to explain that I actually tried it and did it, and oh boy, does it work well. Because I'm always thinking, if I'm doing my own reading, I'm gonna look into it something. If I don't like what I see, I'm gonna kind of, not change it, but just convince myself that maybe isn't really the case, or I'm just overreacting or something. I'm just not one to read for myself. So when I did this and followed the instructions, and it was really easy anyway, it actually fell into place like I couldn't believe. So for anybody listening in who has a deck and does readings, or knows somebody and you go to readings, I think this is a really good way to help you get through what we're going through now and into the new norm. And, then you rely on the cards afterwards as well, because that's what we do sometimes. We get good advice. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, and well, hopefully 2 minutes, and then we'll be back, and we'll get into all the good stuff about the readings and the deck. We're also going to be talking about some candle magic, so stay put. We'll be back.
Stirring the Cauldron will be right back, so don't go away.
If you end up with webbed feet,
Remember, you've been warned.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid of? Horror Paranormal Show Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction.
We are ready to scare you.
Para X.
Hey everyone, it's Marla. If you like tonight's episode of Stirring the Cauldron and the archive podcast as well, take a look at the show's YouTube channel and check out the dozens of shows that are there just waiting to be heard. New shows are added each week, and while you're there, why not subscribe? It's free. And if you click on that tiny little bell icon at the top of the page, you'll be notified when new shows are available. Just go to youtube.com and then type in Stirring the Cauldron Para X, and the link will appear. Just like magic.
Hey there. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a great new radio show on Para X. 2 hosts, 1 hour, and too much fun. Stephanie and Heidi not only talk about the latest goings-on in the supernatural worlds, they live it. They want to hear from you. They want to help you understand and guide you. And they want you to tune in. So, grab a friend or come alone to gather around that metaphysical table with Heidi and Stephanie. If you're interested in the worlds of the unseen, tune in to the Gathering Radio Show, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Hi again, and I'm here with my guest, Jacki Smith, the enchantress of Coventry Creations. And before the break, I was telling you about the REM method in a reading. So Jackie's going to explain how it works, and then I will, since I did it, I'll let you know how it's done, and well, not how it's done, but how it came out, and it kind of blew me away. So
Nice.
I'm handing you the gauntlet.
Well, the REM method is not my original design. That was created by Storm Sestavani, and he is my astrologer friend who keeps me up to date on everything. He's we do the radio show Keep It Magic together, which has been on hiatus for a little bit. So it's remove, energize, manifest. So in anything that you're moving forward in, you got to leave something behind. You got to re-energize yourself to move forward in it. And so what do you need to refill all of those reserves? And then what do you really want to manifest? Or what are you actually manifesting? A lot of times what we think we're manifesting is not really our end goal, because it takes a lot of layers to get through things at times. I might say, well, I want to manifest, 100 new customers. And when I look at deeper into what I'm trying to manifest, it's not really 100 new customers. It's a new avenue, or a new, a different kind of revenue, or what is it I'm really looking for? So what is my hidden agenda is what that manifest is about. And I started using this with the Coventry Magic Oracle, and that is an oracle I created based off of my candles. And that is something that I started actually creating shelf talkers for point of sale. Here's some more information about my products and how you can use it in these 5 areas. And as I was making all these, I went, oh, look, it's an oracle. I have one of my theories is that magic comes down to 5 categories. Everything you do falls into one of these 5 things. You're either looking for something material, financial, it's something about a relationship, so it's something about love. So it's either prosperity, love, it's something that you need to heal, it's something that you need protection around, or some kind of stability in that regard, or it's something you need to clear. So I kept testing this. It always ends up in one of those 5. Even inspiration. Well, what is your inspiration for? And it's like you're healing something or you're clearing something, or maybe you're inspired to, what is your end result in that? So this is how the Oracle came about, and that's how the REM came about, is what energy, what magic do you need to remove the block to your goal, to energize you towards achieving your goal, and to help you manifest that final goal, and then what your hidden agenda is and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty simple, and
Yes.
it's really easy. It's hard to trick yourself in that.
I know. I found that out. I was amazed at how easy it was. And so I did it with my Oracle deck. And I know there are a lot of people out there that aren't readers, but I know some of the people, like I'm looking in chat, that have my deck. So they could do this by themselves, and it works. It's really good. You don't have to be a great tarot reader or an Oracle deck aficionado. You can do it yourself. So what I did, shuffled up like you normally do, and I pulled 3 cards. The first one was for remove. Mm-hmm. And the card I pulled for that was the skull. Now, in my deck, the skull is crowned, which means seize the day. So in this reading, to remove, it meant to me to quit overlooking the simple things and taking too much for granted. So I got to remove doing that. Mm-hmm. I need to kind of open up and start appreciating things more, whatever. All right. So the second card for energize was the bell. Now in my deck, bells symbolize alarms and warnings. So my translation of this card in this field was that I need to generally energize my alert system, pay more attention to things. So, which kind of goes along with the skull about not overlooking things. I love my deck. It really works well. Anyway, the third one was to manifest. And the bat in my deck is the card I pulled, which represents communication. It represents releasing fear and any other pattern that no longer fits with my growth process. Like old patterns and things. Well, if you keep old habits and you keep patterns, you're going to not have anywhere for new opportunities to come in. So this fits right into what we're talking about tonight too. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't work. So 3 simple cards. It took me a minute and a half to realize what the cards were telling me. And, for those of you, there is a booklet to tell you what the card means. And then you just have to read it and figure out, okay, this is how it applies. So that's one of the really easiest things to do. And so those 3 little things are going to help me find my personal new normal. And I'm suggesting that this is a brilliant idea. Thank you, Jackie. And I think everybody needs to do it. Yeah.
I got to get your deck. So I did a couple of things while we were on break. I put in my head with the energy that we're all immersed in right now, whatever it is that you're worried about or concerned, no one escapes this worry or stress right now. Mm-hmm. What do we collectively need? The people who are listening and the people who are part of this. So I pulled 3 cards from the Coventry Oracle, and then I also pulled 3 cards from my deck of shadows. It's a different oracle. I love using oracles, especially in a different way, and I can't wait to get yours because it's now on my list. So the 3 cards I pulled, and it's the candles that go along with that, is needed changes. What needs to be removed is the needed changes candle. What needs to be energized is problem solving. And what we're manifesting, what the manifest is stability. And I'm just laughing because it's just immediately telling me, what do we need to remove? We need to remove the resistance to the change. Just let it go. Just things are being removed. Let them go. And what we need to energize is energizing the fact that we are in the middle of problems but we're gaining new wisdom. This is what's happening, is that, and looking at your resources. When you're problem solving, you're looking at what is the collateral, the resource that I already have, what is interfering with it, and how do I get to the other side. And then the stability candle is the manifesting, is that stable ground. Aren't we all going for a new stability right now anyway? This just makes me laugh. This is really what we're trying to find, is a new stability, a new ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then in the oracle cards, the deck of shadows, the 3 cards for the remove is the master card. And it's also a crown, which I thought was really interesting when you said your crown. So we need to let go of knowing of the fact that we are a master of this. We're all new. The energize is the wealth and the gratitude. So again, look at this. This is my resources. Take a look at, be energized by the gratitude and the resources that I already have. And then the manifest is the guide, the mentor, the mystic. And so we're manifesting that ground. Somebody's got to get control and give me some answers right now. I need a new stability. So it's like that we're manifesting that mentorship. I just found it really interesting that they just really keyed into each other.
Mm-hmm. They do, and it's kind of amazing when that happens, but wonderful at the same time. Now, I talked a little bit too about candle magic for this to help find us. So give us a little bit of what kind of candle, how to do it, in case people aren't familiar with simple candle magic, because there's complicated candle magic too, but simple candle magic works just fine. So
the simple candle magic is setting an intent, lighting a candle. That's it. That's all you got to do. It really becomes that simple and basic, whether it's a tea light or a little chime candle or a taper that you found in your mother's bottom drawer of her curio cabinet. The reason why I'm saying that is candle magic works so well is because it's a marriage of heaven on earth. So when you're using all elements when you're using candle magic, and so you're doing this nice 360 of manifesting, empowering your intent into this candle, and then the flame represents divinity and your intent, and it's coming closer and closer to earth. Isn't that just beautiful? Mm-hmm. This is why I love candle magic so much. So as your candle burns down, you're manifesting your intent. Now, that's basic candle magic. That's all you need to know about it. Now, moving into a little more intentional work using pre-charged candles like Coventry's candles, shameless plug. Or if you're going to charge your own, you're going to use a 7-day or something else, and you're going to dress it and do your own thing. I love diving a little bit deeper into what I'm trying to manifest. So when you're looking at right now in this trying to find your new normal, you think, I just need a money candle, or I need a relationship candle. And what I like to do is I like to use my magic in the REM method as well. Mm-hmm. What do I need to remove? So that's that spiritual cleansing, or doing ancestor work, or doing that needed changes, or anything along those lines. I will sometimes in that remove, I'll also use a stability to let go of my grasp on what I think it must be. Then I bring in another candle to energize me, and then I need to bring in another candle to be what I'm manifesting, what I'm actually going for. So in this instance of finding your new normal, a spiritual cleansing candle, needed changes candle, any of those right there, that is your first go-to. The energize on this is I would actually go for a candle that's going to bring clarity of thought. The Truth and Justice candle, or maybe the Crown Chakra candle, or a nice blue color to deal with that third eye or the throat, because the throat is clear communication. So you want some clarity, and so let go of the things that are muddying, making your thoughts muddy, and that clarity of thought. And then I like that manifesting one to be potential, like success, or even energy and well, or something that allows you to decide what that success is going to look like as you go through this process. Being a little bit more open-ended in this magic right now, rather than, and usually people say don't be open-ended in your magic, say what you want. But right now we're in a state of evolution, and we're learning what is possible. That's what we're going for, what is possible, because I don't think we have imagined the possibilities that are right now.
No.
I think there's a whole realm of possibilities that are beyond our ken.
Yeah, I mean, everything, like, it's new, and people are always afraid of the unknown, and so you can't really make a judgment call about what it's going to be or what it's not going to be until you jump in with both feet. And so, yeah, but like, I think, as we've said before, that getting rid of the fear, getting rid of the what scares you the most is the first step. And I mean, talk a minute, because you're mentioning the different kind of candles, but talk about some of the candles that people can find at Coventry Creations and where they can find them at Coventry Creations, because some people say, well, do I need to do this? Do I need to anoint something with oil, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's all done for you.
Yeah, that's the beauty about my candles, and I will own this piece of information that I'm going to share with everyone, because it was brought to my attention, and I did not realize that up until probably about 15 years ago, that Coventry Creations, and what I created there with these Blessed Herbal candles, we were the first candle on the market that combined the intent, the blessing, the right scent, color, etc., in a magical candle. We created that intentional candle pre-blessed 30 years ago, Marla.
Yeah. I know.
So we were the first ones on that national market, or that went out and took that risk and said, this is what I'm doing. So we started that whole process. So anytime you see like some intentional candles, know that it started with Coventry proving the model that this is something that people are yearning for.
And hope that the people aren't just saying they're intentioned and blessed and everything.
And the most important thing is your intention that you put in there. So so we have our Blessed Herbal candle line, and our affirmation line, and our Motor City Hoodoo line. So whatever your need is, we do have a candle for that. And CoventryCreations.com, that's our website, and everything is available through there. You can also search on Coventry Candles, and we have some amazing stores that sell online. And more of our stores are getting online to sell. Whether it's through, gosh, I just have a bunch of them running through my head right now. I mean, there's 13 Moons, there's Sacred Mist, there's Serpent's Kiss, there's, I think Phoenix and Dragon has her. So, I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on. So you could Google the Coventry candles or Blessed Herbal candles and make sure they're Coventry candles. There's a lot of folks that have been inspired by Coventry. But maybe there's something else that you need. I think that there's a lot of room in this universe for competition and other ideas. Mine aren't the only ones out there. And so really whatever your need is, we do have a candle for that. And we have some interesting tools on our site to check that out.
I love this site. It costs me money, but I love it. I just can't okay, I'm going to look at this. No. Do you need it? No. Do you want it? Yeah. Do you need
my
it?
site loves you, Marla.
Huh?
My site loves you too.
Yeah.
But I do want to give some people some simple stuff that they can do with probably the tea lights. Most of us have tea lights in our house.
Yeah.
Or little chime candles or utility candles. any candle that you have in your house, no matter what color it is. And we all have different spices and olive oil in our house. So to make a good clearing candle, get a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sage. A lot of us have sage in our house for cooking. If you don't have sage, there's a couple other choices that you could make. Another one is black tea or peppermint tea. We have those in our house too. So just take a little bit of olive oil, maybe like a tablespoon worth, put those different herbs in it, let it sit for a minute. So you invite in the energy of the oils and the herbs and the tea. Just invite all of the energies, the divas, that core spirit of it to recharge. Knock on it 3 times. Sometimes some people do. I whisper to it. I'll whisper to peppermint, and I'll talk about its properties of clearing and uplifting and lifting my vibration. I'll thank black tea for all of its antioxidant properties to help pull this negativity out of me. And then you just take that oil and you rub it on that candle. And then you set the intent to clear you and light it. Always put a candle in a proper candle holder and never, ever leave a burning candle unattended. And always take all packaging off of a candle. I can't stress this enough. Even though it looks like it's a part of the candle and maybe you could burn it inside of it like you would do a 7-day. No, don't ever do that. Take all the labels off. And if you scar that candle a little bit when you're taking that label off, it's okay. The candle will forgive you. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But you can take any candle that you have in your house and make it magical just by doing things and inviting the energy of those herbs in there. Let those herbs and those oils know your intent. And olive oil within itself has always been sacred. So inviting in the spirit of that, and you now have a magical candle.
There you go.
For prosperity, you put a little cinnamon in there, and you put a little allspice and a little bit of basil. And sage too. Sage is a great money herb. People don't realize that. It's a great money herb, one of my faves. So that's some little candle magic you can do all on your own to make your magical candle in this moment, even for the full moon tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you don't have to be a witch to do it. Everybody can, and everybody can benefit from it. So yeah, this is good. Now, we're getting close to going, but I wanted you to talk about the Witches Union. Tell everybody what it is and how to join and all that good stuff, please. Take your time.
Join. The Witches Union is just such a fun thing. I get a little stymied for a second when I talk about this because I have so much fun. This came about initially as a fun promotion for our Witches Brew line. And so I created this logo for the Witches Union and a local number 13. And I made a little membership card where you can put your magical name, and on the back I put the things that you can get from being in the Witches Union, which is you can watch any Harry Potter movie without a child present. You get to know all the words to every Stevie Nicks song. You get street cred for having a Witches Union membership card. This was just a fun promotional thing. And I loved it so much, and the people around me loved it so much that we just turned it into a real thing. And so we have, you can go to join.witchesunion.com, and this is where you join the Witches Union, and we send you information, and we also have a Facebook group that you can join, and the Facebook group is a lot of fun because we always put every month we have a new Spellcaster Club card, and it gives you a new spell. And we have lots of information, and we have people who add stuff and ask questions. And I tend to lean back a little bit and let the community build and have different people who have lots to offer. I'm not the only witch out there. And just building that fun community of Witches Union. At Coventry Creations, you can get a Witches Union membership kit basically for the cost of shipping. And it has your Witches Union membership card, a Spellcaster Club card, and some information. And the most fun of it all is I created patches. I have the Witches Union membership patch, and then different patches. There's money magic patch. There's a love magic patch, a psychic patch, healing patch, pet familiar patch. All these different tools and stuff we have as witches, and I do have them all over my jean jacket, and I do have them all over a bag that I carry because I love them. and they all have cute, fun little sayings. It's kind of like you're the witch scout. Here are these different things and each patch is its own spell too. So it's either a badge of honor that you've done successful magic around these things, or you can use it as a spell itself. Mm-hmm. I have on my current journal, I have the money magic patch right on I glued it right onto the top of I do bullet journaling instead of planners, and so I have it glued right onto the top because because soon as COVID showed up, I'm like, nope, we're doing some money magic spell right on here so we can move through this to the other side. So it's fun. The Witches Union is all about fun, because if we did a witch, that is a title. It's not, I look at it, this is not necessarily a religious thing. This is just a title we give ourselves, like teacher or sister or, mentor. Mm-hmm. It's a title.
Yeah, and this is fun. It's wonderful. So give out the URL for the Witches Union again, where they go.
It's join.witchesunion.com. And
also Coventry again is?
CoventryCreations.com. That's COVENTRY creations.com.
And people can find you at the Coventry Creations website. They can find you on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, right?
Correct. We have Coventry in all of those places, and that's where the good stuff is. And the Witches Union is a group on Facebook as well, and you are welcome to. It's 3 simple questions you got to answer. It's kind of like in Monty Python. What is your quest? It's very simple. We just have like that one little thing, and you can come on in.
Yep. Let's beat a door down and do it, because I did. Well, I did almost. I've got it bookmarked. I got to do that. So, yes. Anyway, thank you for helping us kind of figure out what to do now and try to make things a little bit easier. And I want you to come back and talk about some other stuff down the line, and not, like 10 years later, please.
Yeah. Has it been that long, Marla?
Almost, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
wow,
time flies, and not on brooms like we do. Yeah,
right.
Crazy.
Well, I would be honored to come back at any time, and I'm so honored you asked me to be on the show. And I wish everyone peace,
and
inner and outer.
For all of you listening in tonight, or whenever you're going to be listening, blessed be, and merry meet again. Good night.
Good night.
Circle be open, but unbroken. May the peace of the goddess be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. Merry meet again. Merry meet again.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Please join us again next week at the same time for another great guest and more cauldron stirring. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without explicit permission is strictly prohibited.